Hello students, welcome back to the class. So today we will be doing another term titled Sonnet, and I am referring to the book A Glossary of Literary Terms by M.H. Abrams. So let us start. Sonnet. It is a lyric poem consisting of single stanza of 14 iambic pentameter lines linked by an intricate rhyme scheme. So, sonnet is first of all a type of lyric. Lyric is a fairly short poem, okay, and it contains single stanza, and that stanza is of 14 lines. Now these lines follow a particular meter, which is iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter means a line of verse with 5 feet, penta 5 feet, and each feet consists of one short or unstressed syllable followed by stressed syllable. See, pentameter means 5 metrical feet and iambic means unstressed syllable followed by stressed one. Unstressed followed by stressed one. Okay. Okay, then and these lines are linked by a very complicated rhyme scheme. Clear? So we have a lot of things to remember in its basic definition. First of all, that sonnet is a type of lyric, and then it consists of 14 lines, and sonnet follows iambic pentameter, and it has a complicated or intricate rhyme scheme. Now, sonnet is of three types. First of all, why three types? Majorly it has two types, but if we go in depth, then it has three types. First is Italian or Petrarchan sonnet. Second is Shakespeare or English sonnet, and third one is Spenserian sonnet. Okay, that's why I'm calling it has three types. Now first type, that is Italian or Petrarchan sonnet. Petrarch was an Italian poet, and it was he who started writing sonnets. Now Petrarch used to write sonnet in a particular manner, and he divided sonnet into two parts. First part known as an octave, and the second part was known as sestet. Octave contained 8 lines and sestet 6 lines. Okay, now rhyme scheme of octave was ABBA, ABBA, and sestet's rhyme scheme used to be CDE, CDE, or it used to be CDC, CDC. Means in octave, first line of the first line of the poem used to rhyme with the fourth one, and then with the fifth one, and then with the eighth. Okay. Similarly, second line used to rhyme with the third, then sixth and seventh line. And in sestet, first line used to rhyme with the fourth, second with the fifth, third with the sixth. Clear? Okay. Now, Petrarch's sonnet were first imitated in England in both their stanza form and their subject matter. So it was Petrarch, as I said, that it was Petrarch who started writing sonnets, and in England the writers started copying Petrarch for writing sonnets. So they used to copy both the stanza form, both the stanza form means how it was written, and the subject matter was also copied by the English poets. And the subject matter of Petrarchan sonnet was the hopes and pains of an adoring male lover. So he used to write love poetry And in love poetry, he used to discuss the pains of the lover, male lover. Okay. Yeah, so first of all, it was copied by Sir Thomas Wyatt in the early 16th century. Okay, now Petrarchan form was used later used for a great variety of subjects by Milton, Wordsworth, Christina Rossetti, D.G. Rossetti, and other sonneters, who sometimes made it technically easier in English by introducing a new pair of rhymes in the second four lines of octave. So later on, like first of all, it was copied in England by Sir Thomas White, and then later it was copied by Milton. Wordsworth used to write sonnets. Christina Rossetti, D.J. Rossetti, and other sonneters started writing sonnets in English language, and they started introducing their own amendments in the sonnets form. Second type of sonnet is English sonnet or Shakespearean sonnet. Why Shakespearean sonnet? Because he was the greatest practitioner, or he was the one who used sonnet very much. He was the one who wrote sonnet very much in English language. Now, the Earl of Surrey and other English experimenters in the 16th century also developed a stanza form called English sonnet, or else say Shakespearean sonnet. Now, how English sonnet was different from the Petrarchan sonnet? It was different as English sonnet falls into three quatrains. Three quatrains means three stanzas of four lines. Okay, first stanza, second stanza, third stanza of four lines, and it was concluded by a couplet. I am talking about here English sonnet. Okay, so what was the structure of English sonnet? That it had three quatrains, means three stanzas of four lines each, and a couplet at the end. If you count, then how many lines are there in English sonnet? 12 plus 2, 14 lines, and sonnet has 14 lines only. Now, the rhyme scheme of English sonnet was different from the Petrarchan or Italian sonnet. Why? Because its rhyme scheme is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. And of Petrarchan sonnet, what was the rhyme scheme? A B B A A B B A C D C C D C, or C D E C D E. So this is the difference between Petrarchan and Shakespearean sonnet. Now, talking about Spenserian sonnet, Spenser was another poet who used to write sonnets, and he wrote it in this manner, that it also had three quatrains and a concluding couplet, but its rhyme scheme was different. It rhyme scheme was A B A B B C B C C D C D E E. So it's different from the Shakespearean sonnet. So basically it has three types. Sonnet has three types. First is Italian or Petrarchan sonnet, second is Shakespearean sonnet, third is Spenserian sonnet. Shakespearean or English sonnet is completely has a completely different rhyme scheme from Petrarchan sonnet, but Spenserian sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet has some similarities in the structure. Why? Because both of these sonnets contain three quatrains and a concluding couplet. Now moving ahead, talking about John Donne. John Donne has also wrote a very large number of sonnets, but his subject matter was quite different, as he used to write holy sonnets, religious sonnets. He left the themes of primary sexual love, but and he started writing religious sonnets. Milton also wrote sonnets, and his subject matters were of some serious concern. Now, moving ahead, in neoclassical period, sonnets didn't were not very famous. So except for lapse in the English neoclassical period, sonnet has remained a popular form to the present day and include among its distinguished practitioners in the 19th century. So, in neoclassical period, English neoclassical period, sonnets were not so famous. Later on in the 19th century, they became famous again, and the poets started writing them again. And these poets were Wordsworth, Keats, Elizabethan Barrett Browning, Christina Rossetti. Means in Victorian era also sonnets became famous, and in the modern era as well. W.B. Yeats, like W.H. Auden, Dylan Thomas also wrote sonnets. So, yeah, there is another characteristic of sonnet here. Let me change the markers color. This stanza is just long enough to permit a fairly complex lyric development. So the length of the sonnet is very accurate. Why? Because it is long enough that it permits the complex or complicated development of the poem. Okay, and on the other hand, it is short enough that it challenges or it requires the artistry of the poet. What does that mean? That it is not, if sonnet is short, it doesn't mean that it is very easy to be written. Okay, it is short, but it is exigent. Exigent means it is very demanding. Sonnet demands the artistry of the poet. Clear? Okay, now coming to the next line, the rhyme pattern of Petrarchan's sonnet has a whole favored of a statement of a problem, situation, incident in the octave, and a resolution in the sestet. So, in Petrarchan's sonnet, octave contained an incident or a situation or a problem, and in sestet, the solution to that problem was given, or the conclusion to that problem was written, right? But in English form, I'm here talking about the English form. The English form sometimes uses a similar division of material, but often presents instead a repetition with variation of a statement in each of the three quatrains, and the final couplet in the English sonnet usually imposes an epigrammatic tone at the end. So, in the English form, the three quatrains contain problem only, but problem with repetition of it was the problem was repeated in each paragraph with some variation, and then in the couplet epigrammatic turn was given. Epigrammatic means a very clever idea or a very funny idea. So it used to be a very different kind of poem from the Petrarchan sonnet. Now, coming to the sonnet sequences or sonnet cycles. Following Petrarch's early example, a number of Elizabethan authors arranged their poems in sonnet sequences or sonnet cycles, in which, so sonnet sequence contains a series of sonnets which are linked together by exploring the varied aspects of a relationship between the lovers, or else by indicating a development in the relationship that constitutes a kind of implicit plot. Sonnet sequences means a collection of sonnets, and that collection, the poems in that collection used to be linked together. Those poems can be linked by the subject matter or by the development of the plot. Okay, so these are the examples of sonnet sequences, like Sidney's Astrophel and Stella and Spencer's Amority are the examples. Okay students, see you later. Thanks for watching the video. Bye bye.